First off, the way I got into music is just odd to begin with because I do a radio show, and so I just went on and said in the summer of 2000, I think it was, I had this idea because there was a TV show called Making the Band, and they were starting a band, a boy band on ABC, and I was like, I've always wanted to be in a band. If they can do it on TV, why can't we do it on radio? Except I didn't want to be in a boy band, I wanted to be in a rock band. I only had two rules, no keyboards and no girls allowed. Because my favorite bands growing up didn't have girls. Van Halen didn't have any girls, AC/DC didn't have any girls, Kiss didn't have any girls in it, so that was the only reason I had that rule. And so we just asked for people to send all their stuff in. We had hundreds of guys that applied. I collected a couple of names that seemed like they made sense with their background, and we ended up rehearsing at the original Playroom, which is where I met Eddie Z, who came out after the first rehearsal. I wanted to be the drummer. I don't play drums. I just wanted to be the drummer, see if we could put together a couple of songs. And he came to me and he said, can you sing? And I said, I have no idea, I don't know. And he said, well, I hope you can because I'd like to help with this thing. I think you have a fun idea here, but it's a lot easier to cover for a bad singer than a bad drummer. And you're possibly the worst drummer I've ever heard in my entire life. That was the end of the drumming career. We ended up putting Charity Case together, and now here we are 19 years later. Every dime that we've made goes to charity. We've raised over $1.2 million for Ace and TJ's Grin Kids, which is a charity on our radio show that benefits kids who are terminally ill and chronically disabled. We take them every year on a once-in-a-lifetime dream vacation to Disney World. So that's kind of how I got into the whole thing, almost by accident. I just kind of fell into it. It was going to be a one-time show, and then thanks to Eddie saying, the band's not bad. I mean, as he told me many times, you're a great frontman. You're a terrible singer, but you're a great frontman. I think we can get over with that. So that's kind of how the whole thing began, and we had the radio show to help us get spots, and it just kind of began to steamroll and become something. The first big thing we ever did, there used to be a festival called City Fest in Charlotte, and we decided, well, great, we're going on about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I think the headliner went on at 8 o'clock, and I think Styx was the headliner on our stage that night. And there were some other bands in between, and we had never played a festival before, but on our stage, there were a few thousand people there. We came prepared. Never played outdoors before. Let's see if we can blow it out. So we had been using pyrotechnics that we didn't ask or didn't alert anybody that we were going to do pyro. And we're on this stage, and in the headstock of Eddie's Les Paul, there was a small pyro attachment. We'd run a line down through the guitar for a toggle switch on the bottom. Well, they tried to load it up with extra powder, and when it went off, it actually it fell out of the thing and caught the monitor on fire. So now the monitor's burning that we don't own, and we're on stage, and the place is going crazy, and there's like 3,000 people. It felt like Woodstock to me. It felt like 500,000 people were out there. And I thought, well, what's left to do? It's outdoors. Let's break the guitar and end the show right. So we're almost over our time. The stage manager's not pleased because we've set his monitor on fire. I mean, we put it out quickly, but it was on fire. And I look out of the corner of my eye, and they throw me in the air this acoustic guitar, and I catch it. Now, I think I'm still a terrible singer, but I'm feeling like the greatest rock god on the planet, and I'm holding this acoustic guitar over my head, and the crowd is going berserk. And out of the corner of my eye, I can see the stage manager screaming, no, no. Too late, now the crowd's going crazy. And we start breaking guitar parts, and it shatters into 1,000 pieces all over the stage. And I throw it down, and I'm standing there with my hands over my head like this, and the crowd is going crazy. It's one of the first times I remember thinking, oh, that's what that feeling is like, when people go nuts. And then I just walked off and left it. And I know the guy's upset. And I got to the back, and after about 10 seconds, I thought, I should go clean that up. And I started back out there, and luckily Eddie grabs me. You cannot break it and then go out there and clean it up in front of the crowd. You got to let it go. So that's where I kind of learned, once you're out there, once you've committed to it, you got to commit, and go all the way through.